Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is ThePromG and welcome back to a brand new video. Now today, what I'm going to be bringing you is my monthly manga reading log for the month of April. Now, obviously the whole world is still in lockdown. This is month 2 of quarantine, I guess you could say. And yeah, I've had still just as much time to read manga and avoid doing schoolwork as possible. So yeah, I read lots of manga this month, and I'm going to be going over all the manga I read this month and the progress I've been making on some series that I've been reading. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into what I read over the month of April. The first thing I read this month is the All You Need Is Kill 2-in-1. This is the manga that inspired Edge of Tomorrow, I believe was the name of the Hollywood film. As you can see here, it's illustrated by Takeshi Obata, the artist behind Bakuman and Death Note series like that. So the artwork was familiar and really enjoyable. He has pristine artwork in my opinion, some of the best in manga that you can find. I feel like when people are talking about good artwork, Takeshi Obata doesn't always come up as much as he should. Obviously you have like in a way with Vagabond and Slam Dunk and stuff like that, but I really think that Obata has some of the best artwork in manga. It's just consistent throughout, pretty detailed at times, and really realistic in other times. So yeah, I feel like people are really sleeping on Obata. Personally love Death Note and love the artwork in this. I read this in one sitting, it was really enjoyable. Some of the plot points were kind of confusing, like how the time travel works, or I guess like skipping back after you die. I guess it's not really time travel, but that whole like time loop element was kind of confusing at times, but I'll let it slide for the most part because this is only a 2-volume series in this format, so you know they didn't have a whole lot of time to expand on this while having a full kind of fleshed out story. This 2-in-1 is actually really cheap. It's like less than $10 new on Amazon, so if you're balling on a budget looking for something new to read and you haven't read this already, definitely go check out All You Need Is Kill. The next thing I read this month is some volumes of Gantz. Read volumes 34 to 36, I believe. Maybe I only read 35 and 36, I can't really remember because this was at the beginning of the month. Only one volume left to read in Gantz. It's in the mail, arriving soon, hopefully. I ordered like a month ago and it still hasn't come yet. But yeah, I am just really thrilled to have finally completed this series and only one more volume to read. People say that the final arc is where the manga kind of starts to fall off, but so far I'm really gripped by this series. Up until this point, still, you really get to see development of some characters come to the forefront based on where they were at the beginning, kind of how their personality changes up until now with this whole catastrophe going on in Gantz in the final arc. So yeah, really enjoying this so far, even though some people say that it's the worst of Gantz. So far, I'm really enjoying it. Only one more volume to read, and once I do that, I'll finally finish this series that I've been reading for months consistently. Best series of all time in my opinion that I've read. You could definitely disagree with me on that take. One more volume to read next month, hopefully if it comes. Praying that it comes next month. I feel like I've spent way too much time waiting on how the series ends, waiting for this volume to come in the mail, but yeah, excited to read that, have this series finally completed. Now moving on to a manga series that I actually did complete this month, we're going to be talking about Blam. I finished all 10 volumes of the series in the singles, and this is probably one of my favorite sci-fi series that I've ever read. The ending kind of gets shit on sometimes, but I really enjoyed it. I took kind of a hiatus from reading this. I stopped kind of halfway through, and when I got back into it, there were some confusing things, like I forgot who characters were or their relationships with each other, so there were times when I was reading the second half of the series that I was really confused about what was going on, but the artwork and just the action really carried me through to the end, and I had some closure with the ending, even though it's kind of an open-ended ending that had me thinking. I really enjoyed the ending, even though, like I said, some people think that's not great, but you can't really argue that Blam is an iconic sci-fi series, and one that I really think that you guys should read, whether it be in the Master Editions online or in these singles if you can find them. Definitely great artwork, as is typical from Tsutomu Nihei, and a really interesting series and a concept all around. Now the next series that I've been working on this month is Berzerk. Now I'm holding volume 26, but I read through volume 30. I'm just not holding 30 because that volume has some water damage, so it's like all damaged on the front, like warps and stuff. But yeah, read through volume 30 of Berzerk, and yeah, this is holding up to be one of my favorite manga series of all time. I believe I'm still in the Falcon of the Millennium, or some people call it like the Millennium Falcon arc. I don't really know what it's called, but people argue that that's probably the worst arc to date, maybe, other than Fantasia, the most recent arc that's currently ongoing in Berserk. But I'm still enjoying it, you know, for what it's worth. Obviously, it's not as good as the Golden Age and Conviction arc, in my opinion. I feel like most people's opinions, but still enjoyable. But one thing that I think is really overlooked in these later Berserk volumes is just how good the art is, because it's obviously improved from when the Golden Age and Conviction arc was going on. I think that in these current volumes, at least up until what I've read, is some of the best art that Berserk has produced to date. You have these really detailed scenes of like battles and these monsters, and also one thing that I really like is like in these grand settings where it's in a palace or it's at some royal banquet, you know, get all these amazing character designs in their like, you know, upper echelon clothing and stuff like that. I'll put some pictures up on the screen to kind of tell you what I'm talking about, but Really enjoy those scenes. Even though people say that after the Golden Age arc, the manga kind of falls off, I'm still enjoying this manga for what it's worth, and I definitely recommend reading Berzerk if you haven't already. You can pick up the singles or in these new amazing deluxe editions that are coming out. You really can't go wrong. I think more people are experiencing this story for the first time than ever as of right now, including myself. If you can handle intense violence and dark subject matter, I definitely recommend go picking up Berzerk if you haven't already. Legendary series, and I think that if you're okay with those things that I mentioned, you're definitely going to fall in love with Berzerk immediately. The next thing right over this month is volumes 1 through 10, the complete series of Inuyashiki. I have them behind me there, you can see. Picked these all up in one fell swoop, and I actually read them all in one night. I just picked them up one afternoon, I started reading, and just could not put it down. I really, really love Inuyashiki. I definitely go recommend you give Inuyashiki a shot. It's about an old man who gets no respect from his family or anyone outside, but one day he gets struck by like a spaceship or something from space, and it turns him into a robot, and he decides to dedicate his life to being a hero. But we have this character as well who is also hit by this thing from space, but he dedicates his life to helping his mom by doing some evil things. And yeah, it's a story about these two characters and how they kind of have this conflict where they both only feel alive by doing either good or by doing bad. So it kind of shows the story between the two. I think is really interesting. The ending was really fulfilling in my opinion, had me thinking for a while. I highly recommend the series, and I'm going to be doing a manga review of this series in a couple days. Probably I'll have it up in maybe a week. So yeah, definitely look forward to that. And in the meantime, you can go ahead and read this series for yourself. I highly recommend it. The next thing that I'll be reading this month is Eden, It's an Endless World. I got through volume 6 of this series, and this is definitely in my top 10 manga series that I've ever read already. This is a legendary sci-fi series, very highly acclaimed, and some of these volumes are very rare, so I was lucky to get these all for a good price. I think I'm missing one volume of the 14-volume English release. Every volume's a roller coaster, seems like. It'll start off kind of complicated, but then it'll all come together, and then it'll go to this, you know, rapid fire action, and then the ending will just leave you with your jaw to the floor. Amazing series, can't say enough good stuff about this. The characters and the story and the world, everything is just so interesting, and I cannot wait to keep reading this series this month, and next month I'll probably have the English release finished, and I can go read the last 4 volumes, which are only put out in Japanese. Even It's an Endless World, cannot recommend the series enough, in my top 10 manga of all time. And the final thing that I read this month that I've been working through is Blade of the Immortal. I've got through the 4th omnibus, which is the first 12 volumes out of 31 in this series, and wow, this is something else. This is one of the best manga series that I've ever read. I could go on and on about the artwork, the full and fleshed out characters, you know, the storytelling, the amazing action, all the violence, but I'm going to save that for a manga review. Just know that almost everything in this manga is perfect. The story is really gripping so far, so I've been sitting down reading an omnibus every like week or so, and I'm really, really engrossed in this series so far. Now, I won't spoil anything, but if you've read the series, you know that this volume, the death of one of the most hated characters in all of manga, I'd say, occurred, or supposed death, I should say. I'm not really quite sure, but if you've read the series, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is an amazing omnibus. My favorite character on the spine, Magatsu, one of my favorites, I guess I should say. But yeah, amazing action in this volume, some incredible, memorable fights. I'm really impressed with the story so far and cannot wait to see how it ends. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this monthly manga reading log for the month of April. If you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more manga videos just like this. And check out the social media links that I've left in the description below. You can go follow me on there. So yeah, this has been ThePromG. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. And as always, hope to catch you in the next one.